The gym pulsed like a heartbeat that didn't know how to stop. Fans stomped on metal bleachers, drums pounded from the student section, and the scoreboard blinked 24 to 23. Game point. The University of Georgia Panthers were one play away from closing out their rivals, the Florida Spartans, and claiming a place in the record books. But tonight wasn't about history. It was about her, Maya Daniels, senior, captain, All-American, the name on every scout's clipboard. Two men in navy jackets sat behind the scorer's table, the kind with U.S. Olympic emblems stitched on the sleeve. They didn't even bother to hide their smiles. "Last one," Coach Ruth shouted from the sideline. "Seal it, Maya." The serve came fast. Maya's teammate set the ball high. The air held its breath. Her heartbeat slowed, her body remembered. And for a split second, she felt the weightless freedom that only came midair. "Maya, Maya, Maya!" Her palm struck the ball. Crack. It hit the floor like lightning. 25 to 23. Game point. The crowd exploded. Cameras flashed. The scout in the navy blazer stood, writing one word beside her name: Olympic caliber. Maya raised her arms, laughing, radiant, until her foot hit the floor wrong. A sharp pop cut through the celebration. The gym went silent. Maya's scream tore through the noise. She collapsed instantly, clutching her leg. Coach Ruth was already running. "Don't move, baby, don't move!" Maya tried to speak, but the pain was too much. Her knee bent, in a way knees aren't supposed to bend. Her teammates stood frozen, the scoreboard still glowing victory. From the stands, one of the scouts whispered, "Damn shame," and closed his notebook. And just like that, the future she'd built her life around cracked in two. The sound of that pop followed her everywhere. For months, it replayed in her head, the noise that ended everything. Rehab was quiet, sterile, full of people pretending pain was progress. The roar of the crowd became the hum of fluorescent lights. Applause was replaced by the click of crutches. 8 months before she could walk. 4 surgeries, 2 years of trying to believe in miracles. Before the fall, Maya was a phenomenon. The first college volleyball player with a 6-figure NIL deal. Nike, Gatorade, Power Burst Energy. Her face stretched across billboards, her smile on every screen. $600,000 in contracts. Play fearless. That was her slogan. The words were painted on shoes, water bottles, and the walls of her old locker room. But fearless didn't mean invincible. When she fell, the world moved on without her. Calls stopped. Sponsors disappeared. Her agent ghosted her. By the time she recovered, her highlight reels had been replaced by new stars. One of them a freshman selling sneakers with her slogan. Maya watched the commercial once, then turned off the TV. The years bled together. Rehab rooms turned into part-time jobs, youth clinics, fitness coaching, odd jobs, all small attempts to fill the silence where the game used to be. She still wore the bracelet Coach Ruth had given her before that last match, a black cord with a silver volleyball charm. When her hands shook from frustration, she'd twist it, like holding on to the girl she used to be. Some nights she'd sit on her apartment floor with a bottle of wine, replaying her old games until her vision blurred. The ache wasn't just in her knee, it was in her chest. She'd built a life out of motion and didn't know how to live when it stopped. 5 years later, Atlanta had changed. Or maybe she had. Rain streaked across her windshield as she sat in her old Honda outside her mother's house. The porch light flickered, half welcome, half warning. She traced the silver charm on her wrist, took a breath that trembled, and whispered to herself, "You ever come home," she said softly, "and it don't even feel like home no more?" Her voice was small, meant for no one but herself, a question that didn't need an answer. The front door creaked open before she could knock. "You back again?" Mama Daniels asked, arms crossed but eyes soft. Maya smiled faintly. "Coach Ruth called, said she's starting a new program at Atlanta Metro. Wants me to help." Her mother raised a brow. "That little college downtown, with the broken scoreboard and leaking roof? That's the one." Her mother sighed. "Maybe that's where you're supposed to be. Fixing things. Starting with yourself." Maya stepped inside. The air smelled like lemon polish and quiet. Her old trophies lined the mantel, gold dulled by time. She picked one up. They were scouting me that night, she whispered. Her mother didn't speak. She didn't need to. Outside, thunder rolled over the city. The sound made Maya's scar ache. Across town, under that same storm, another gym buzzed with energy. Atlanta Metro University, no big lights, no TV cameras, just flickering bulbs and a crowd of maybe 50 people. But when the whistle blew, one name owned the court. Mookie Williams, 19, outside hitter, 6'1" with a vertical that looked impossible. He wasn't just good. He was electric. The serve came hard. Mookie dove, twisted, and slammed the ball down so clean the ref barely had time to blink. 24-24. The crowd shouted his name. Coach blew the whistle. Lock in, Williams. One more. Mook nodded, drenched in sweat. His mind was already ahead of the play, reading patterns, calculating angles. The ball went up. He jumped. Crack. 25-24. Game point. The gym erupted. His teammates tackled him in celebration. He laughed, breathless. But something in his eyes stayed distant, like he was somewhere else already. Coach gathered the team at center court. That's how we fight. Remember this energy next week. Now hit the showers. Mookie high-fived a few players, then slipped away quietly. In the locker room, steam fogged the mirrors. He rinsed off quick, threw on his hoodie, and checked his phone. 10 missed notifications. He knew what that meant. 10 minutes later, he was running across campus in the rain, hood up, sneakers squeaking. He burst into his dorm, dropped his bag, and flipped open his laptop. The screen glowed like a secret. Green numbers, rising odds. Bets cleared. Money moved. He grinned. Spike line wins again. Tay, his roommate, didn't even look up. You just won a match. Can't you chill for 1 second? Mookie shook his head. The game on the court pays tuition. The one off it changes lives. You keep saying that like it's noble, Tay muttered. Mook smirked. Noble don't pay rent. Another ping. A new deposit flashed, $42,000. Then a message, nice match, kid. Expect a call soon? Mookie froze. What the hell? Tay leaned closer. Bro, that ain't student money. Mookie stared at the screen. His grin faltered. Thunder rolled outside, shaking the glass. For a moment, his reflection in the window looked split. Half light, half shadow. Across the city, under that same storm, Maya stood at her window, twisting the silver charm on her bracelet. Lightning painted her face in flashes of white and gold. Tomorrow, she whispered, I coach. Across town, Mookie whispered to his empty room, tomorrow I collect. The rain fell harder, drumming against both windows. Two stories connected by a storm neither of them could see coming. Two players, one chasing redemption, one chasing control, both about to learn that every game has a cost. Because in Atlanta, every serve has a shadow, and some shadows don't play fair. Morning came gray and heavy, one of those Atlanta mornings that felt like it was holding its breath. Maya's alarm buzzed at 6. Her knee ached before her feet even touched the floor. She pressed her hand against the scar, exhaled, and whispered, let's move. Downstairs, gospel played softly over the hum of the stove. You sure you're ready for this? Mama Daniels asked without looking up. No, Maya said, pouring her coffee. But maybe that's what makes it worth doing. Her mother turned, smiling faintly. Then go make somebody remember your name again. Rain followed her across the city. When she turned through the iron gates of Atlanta Metro University, her chest tightened. The campus was smaller than she remembered, but it still had presence. Old red brick buildings, oak trees heavy with history, marble steps that once meant you made it. There was a time when AMU was the Howard University of Atlanta. If you were black, gifted, and hungry for greatness, this was your destination. Doctors, poets, activists, Olympians, they all started here. Then came the scandal. A former president mismanaged millions in aid and endowment money. Accreditation vanished. Students transferred mid-semester. Professors went unpaid. They said they couldn't believe the Howard of Atlanta had fallen so far. Now, years later, AMU was fighting to rise again. Accreditation restored, funding thin, pride fragile but alive. And maybe that's why Maya was here, to remember how to rise too. Inside the gym, the air smelled of polish and time. Flickering lights hummed overhead. The wood floor gleamed with age, not luxury. About time you showed, came the familiar voice. Coach Ruth Benton stood at midcourt, whistle in one hand, clipboard in the other. Her silver curls framed a face carved by years and fire. Still yelling before sunrise? Maya asked, grinning. Only way to keep the blood flowing, Ruth shot back, pulling her into a hug. When they stepped apart, Maya looked around. You really left Georgia? Ruth nodded. 20 years at UGA, 3 SEC titles, 6 All-Americans, and 1 ungrateful athletic director who said I was too traditional. Translation, I don't dance for clicks. Maya smiled. So you came here? Ruth's gaze swept the gym. Came home. Class of '89. AMU gave me my first chance. My scholarship was paid with donated church money and a dream. I told myself I'd come back someday to repay that debt. She motioned upward toward the rafters. See that? Maya followed her finger to a banner near the top of the gym. Yellowed by time, but still proud. 1991 Women's Conference Champions. Head coach Ruth Benton. Maya's breath caught. That's you. Was me, Ruth said softly. Now it's us. I built this place once. Let's build it again. She patted Maya's shoulder. Now come on. Let's see what kind of team we're saving. The gym doors swung open and the men's volleyball team filed in. Tall, lean, half awake, and loud. Eyes up! Ruth barked. The noise died instantly. This is Coach Daniels, All-American, NIL pioneer, and your new standard. You give her effort or you give me laps. Choose wisely. A few chuckles, a few nods. That's when Maya saw him. Mookie Williams, 19, 6'1", calm but electric. The kind of quiet that draws attention instead of asking for it. He nodded once, polite but unbothered. The confidence of someone who already knew how good he was. Ruth's whistle blew. Let's work! The first serve flew, then another. Within seconds, Maya saw it. Sloppy transitions, late reads, lazy defense. Stop! Her voice cracked through the air like thunder. She walked onto the court, eyes fierce. You think this is volleyball? This is chaos. Move your feet, square your shoulders, read the ball before it reads you. A few guys smirked. She tossed a ball high, jumped, and hit it. A sound like a gunshot. Crack. It smacked the floor so hard even Ruth winced. That's control, Maya said. That's command. Now do it again. She landed, and the pain hit. Her knee flared white hot, stealing her breath. For half a second, she faltered. But she straightened, pretending to adjust her stance, and forced a smile. Again, she shouted, let's go! They moved sharper now, feeding off her fire. Sweat hit the floor, sneakers squeaked. Her voice became a drum beat. Read, react, believe. Each word rode the pain, controlled it, turned it into fuel. Mookie dove, spiked, and landed clean. Perfect. Maya nodded. Better, but don't play like it's a game. Play like it's survival. He stared back at her. Maybe it is. Their eyes locked. Challenge, meeting, challenge. For the first time, someone in that gym matched her fire. By the time Ruth blew the final whistle, the team was drenched. Sloppy, raw, but alive. That's what I'm talking about, Ruth called. That's Atlanta Metro University ball. The players grinned as they left, slapping hands and breathing hard. Maya stood still, chest rising and falling, sweat sliding down her temple, her leg trembling with pain. It hurt, but it felt good. It was the kind of ache that meant purpose. When the gym cleared, Ruth sat on the bleachers, looking up at the banner with her name on it. You brought heat in there, she said. That's what this place needs. Someone who doesn't just remember what winning felt like, but what it cost. Maya dropped beside her. You could have gone anywhere. Ruth smiled, eyes never leaving her name on the banner. I already did, but nowhere ever felt like here. Atlanta Metro University made me, and I'll die making sure it lives again. She turned, fire steady. We're not the Howard of Atlanta anymore, Daniels. We're AMU. Say it proud. Maya nodded, voice strong. Atlanta Metro University. Ruth grinned. Now let's bring her back to life. Across campus, Mookie sat in his dorm, towel still around his neck, scrolling through his phone. A message blinked in nice practice. Coach looks like trouble. Don't let her slow you down. He frowned. Who is this? No reply. Another ping, tomorrow's match. Same spread. Bigger payout. Don't miss. He leaned back, watching the rain streak the window. The reflection staring back wasn't the boy who just played. It was the man he was becoming. One who understood that every move came with a price. On the other side of campus, Maya sat in her car, knee throbbing beneath the steering wheel. Her phone buzzed. A text from Ruth. Pain means you're back in the fight. Keep going. She smiled through the ache, whispering, Still we rise. Outside, lightning lit the banner with Ruth's name for a heartbeat, a flash of what was and what would be again. If you've made it this far, you're already in the game. You felt the pressure, you saw the choices, and you know what's coming next. So don't just listen. Step onto the court with us. Leave a comment and tell me what you think happens next. Who cracks first? Who survives the fallout? And make sure you follow Simply Jaynae's story so you don't miss the next chapter. Because the next serve changes everything. The women's locker room was empty now. Just the hum of the vents and the faint echo of a ball from the court outside. Steam rose off the bucket as Maya lowered her knee in and the cold bit clean, a blade under old scar tissue. The burn crawled up her thigh. She breathed through it, one long, slow inhale, the fluorescent buzz above her a thin electric line. She joined AMU as an assistant coach, a chance, not a comeback. The pay wasn't much, the hours long, but it meant something. She was still in the game, still rebuilding, even if it was from the ground up. Independent, but not yet steady. She glanced around the rows of lockers, metal doors dented from years of seasons that came and went. She'd traded the corner office she once dreamed of for a folding chair and a locker key, and somehow that felt right. She let her gaze blur until she saw it again. Bright court, hot lights, the crowd's roar folding into a single tremor in her chest, the jump, the rip, the silence. The dream that used to carry her floated up and hovered there, a ghost at the edge of the mirror. You're not done, she told herself. Not yet. Down the hall, Ruth's office sounded like a metronome. Heel, heel, heel on scuffed tile. Harold, you know my resume, she said into the phone, breath clipped but warm. I'm not asking for a plaque. I'm asking for scholarships. These kids are working part-time to afford protein. A pause, a listening sigh. No, a new scoreboard doesn't feed anyone. She hung up and rubbed her thumb over the glass of the old photo frame on her desk. Young faces grinning beneath maroon warm-ups, 1991 stitched across their jackets. Ruth Benton stamped under women's champions. Still fighting for you, girls, she murmured, not as nostalgia, but as promise. The door eased open. Maya limped in with the bucket, towel slung over one shoulder. Ruth looked up and shook her head. You're supposed to be home resting that knee. I am, Maya said, setting the bucket down, resting loudly. Ruth's laugh was a soft bark. You sound like me 20 years ago. How's the list? Maya nodded at the scatter of letters, spreadsheets, and headaches. Ugly, Ruth said. Half disappeared when accreditation did. The other half want a winning season before they write a dime. So proof before faith? Exactly. Ruth's mouth tilted. Then let's give them proof. By late afternoon, the gym breathed again. Shoes squealed, a serve cracked, someone whooped too loud and got shushed by his own teammates. The walls wore their history openly, faded banners with stubborn gold thread, hairline cracks spidering toward the rafters, photos of champions smiling through dust. Every scuff on the hardwood was a sentence in a story that hadn't stopped speaking. Warm-up's over, Maya called, whistle in hand. Let's run it like it counts. The first rally fell apart fast. The setter's toss drifted behind the hitter's shoulder, the ball dying halfway to the net. The next play wasn't better. Two players hesitated on the same dig, and the ball thudded untouched between them. Maya's whistle cut through the chaos. Talk! You have to talk out there! No one answered, just tired eyes and silence. Again, she said. Run it clean this time. The setter, a wiry sophomore named Terrence, fumbled another set, hands trembling as the ball rolled off to the side. The outside hitter threw up his hands. You scared to set? Maya barked. Or you scared to lead? Terrence swallowed hard, wiped his palms on his shorts, and tried again. The ball went high, too high, and Mookie had to adjust mid-air, saving it with a wild angle that barely cleared the tape. It landed good, but sloppy. Better, she said. Now again. Trust each other, not yourselves. You're not solo artists. You're a song. They were as disconnected as she'd once been after her injury. Talent scattered, no rhythm, no belief. Watching them struggle was like looking in a mirror she'd spent years avoiding. Ruth watched from the bleachers, quiet, taking it all in. The tension, the cracks, the spark that still fought through it. Her eyes lingered on Maya, noting the limp, the fire, the need. Maybe the program wasn't the only thing being rebuilt here, she thought. Another rally, faster, cleaner. For a few seconds, the rhythm clicked. Dig, set, hit, until Terrence hesitated again, and the ball hit the floor like punctuation. Maya closed her eyes, holding the whistle by her lips. They don't know each other yet, she thought. They don't even believe they can. Then she blew the whistle hard. Reset! And this time, play like you actually want to be here. The next serve came in fast and mean, and Mookie blocked it clean. The sound cracked like a starting gun. The gym stirred to life. That's it, she shouted. That's who we are. Ruth smiled quietly from the stands. The hum of the lights sounded like applause. The next morning, the gym still smelled of yesterday's sweat, resin, and the sharp tang of bleach. The echoes of the scrimmage clung to the rafters, like ghosts that refused to leave. Mookie sat alone on the bleachers, hoodie up, headphones in. The morning light through the high windows painted the floor in stripes. His body was sore, but his mind was louder, replaying every serve, every look Maya gave him, every word Ruth said about pride and starts that mattered. His phone buzzed. The sound barely registered over the thud in his chest. The screen lit the space around him, soft blue against the shadow. O'Shea's name pulsed at the top of the thread. Friday's game confirmed. You'll get your numbers. He stared at it for a long moment. His thumb hovered. This wasn't supposed to go past a hustle, a few bets on pickup games, $20 spreads between friends. But now there were names he didn't know watching the lines move. Now the money wasn't college money anymore. He typed, erased, typed again. We're not ready. Team's rough. The reply came fast. That's why the odds are sweet. Atlanta Metro +4. Don't choke. Another notification slid down. No name attached. We're watching the line. He locked the phone fast, pulse jumping. Mookie swallowed hard. His scholarship barely covered tuition. His mom's last wire had bounced, survival math, and that's all it was. He sent the thumbs up emoji and stared at the black screen. For a second, he thought about Maya, the way she'd stared him down in practice. You think champions save their legs? They train them to go past the pain. Her voice replayed like a warning. He pulled his hood tighter. Just one game, he muttered. Then I'm done. Even he didn't believe it. Outside, rain drummed against the windows. The same rhythm the ball had made the night before. It didn't sound like a storm. It sounded like a countdown. Ruth's office phone vibrated across the desk until the caller ID flashed like lightning on dark water. President Clayton Reed. She let it ring once longer than polite, then answered. Coach Benton, his voice purred like a smile without warmth. I'm hearing about your approach. You mean results? She said flatly. I mean disruption. Donors are nervous when you make promises we can't fund. We don't need promises, Ruth said, staring at the rain hitting the glass. We need belief. If the board can't afford that, they're in the wrong business. A politician's chuckle. Smooth. Empty. Just keep it professional, Ruth. No miracles. The call ended. She looked up at the banner above her desk, her name stitched under a glory no one could erase. Professional? She murmured. I'm building resurrection. Maya's apartment smelled like eucalyptus and rain, soft and quiet. She propped her leg up, towel warm now where the ice had been. No teammates, no noise, just her and the rain. She opened the acupuncture email again, this time reading slowly, like the words were stepping stones across a river she wanted to cross. She leaned back and let the rain be applause from a future she hadn't lived yet. Outside, the downpour eased to a fine hiss. The gym lights across campus smudged the wet night, making halos on the pavement. AMU wasn't back. Not yet. But the sound of effort had returned to its bones. Balls, breath, whistles, voices learning to believe. Inside that old gym, the banners hung silent, waiting, like everyone else, for Friday. And somewhere in the city, thunder rolled like an old promise. On Mookie's nightstand, a phone that could ruin him lay face down, waiting for morning. The gym was alive long before the whistle. Air thick with heat and sound. Sneakers squealing, drums pounding in the corner, a wave of maroon and gold shirts pulsing with noise. The AMU Lions stood along the baseline, eyes forward, sweat already slick on their necks. Across the net, the Easton Titans were silent, lined up like machines. Easton won the coin toss. They'd serve first. Their captain, Grayson Hill, rolled the ball between his palms, smirked at the noise, then tossed it high. The serve tore through the air, heavy topspin, dropping like it had weight. Jarrell read it too late. The ball clipped the back line. Ace. The crowd groaned. Hill smiled, twirled the ball again. Second serve. The tone was set. Mookie dove late, barely got a hand on it. Terrence scrambled, lifted a desperate set. The swing came flat and soft. Easton buried it straight down. 1-0, then 2, then 4. Maya's whistle sliced through the chaos. Timeout. The players gathered near the bench, heads down, chests heaving. She crouched low, voice calm but firm. Breathe. You're chasing instead of reading. Terrence, stop floating the ball. Set solid and trust your line. Gerald, call it early. Don't wait for the fall. Mookie. He looked up. Stop playing angry. Play smart. You got this. Ruth nodded beside her. Let's go earn some rhythm. When they broke the huddle, the crowd started clapping. Slow, deliberate, building into a roar. It wasn't enough. Easton stayed surgical. Every swing precise. The first set ended 25-17. Second set. Mookie looked at Tay as they huddled. We're not talking out there, he said, chest heaving. Tay's jaw tightened. Then start talking. Maya nodded from the sideline. Find each other. Don't play 6 games. Play 1. The whistle blew. New energy. Terrence snapped his hands faster, calling tempo changes mid-rally. Quick on 3. Inside, inside. Back to Mook. Tay leapt at the net, arms high. His block snapped the ball straight down. Let's go, he yelled, pounding his chest. Mookie slapped his shoulder. That's the wall, baby. Easton's next serve came screaming low, clipping the tape and dying fast. It was gone, until Mookie lunged, left leg flashing out like instinct. His shoe caught the ball clean, popping it into the air. Perfect contact off the foot. The crowd gasped, then erupted. Terrence didn't hesitate. One fluid motion. He jumped and back-set the ball to the outside. Mookie was already there, rising, eyes locked, body coiled. He hammered it cross-court, the ball slicing the sidelines so clean it left the air humming. Point AMU. The gym detonated. Someone yelled, "He did it again!" Mookie just smiled, tapping his chest. All heart. Dez stepped in for a serve, a half smile on his face. Zone 2's open. Jarrell nodded. Paint it. The serve cut through the air and kissed the back line. Ace. The crowd exploded. For a few glorious minutes, the noise became rhythm, talk, move, talk. Every dig, every swing, every breath connected. AMU climbed from 12 to 18 to 21 to 21. Then Easton's captain ripped 2 straight kills, closing the door 25 to 22. Still down 0-2, but alive. Third set. Ruth's voice thundered between rallies. Discipline! Don't chase the scoreboard! Maya paced the sideline, fire in her eyes. When a cross-court shot from Mookie landed a foot inside and the line judge called it out, she was already halfway to the ref stand. That ball was in. You saw it. The ref raised a warning hand. Ruth caught her arm. Not worth it, Daniels. It's worth something, she hissed, but stepped back. The crowd roared for her. That spark lit the team. Jarrell sprawled for a miracle dig. Terrence backset on instinct. Mookie's spike cracked like thunder. Set AMU, 25-20. Now it was 2-1. Fourth set. Terrence ran the offense like he was conducting an orchestra. Tay middle, now. Quick set, boom. Dez floated two serves into untouched corners. The Titans stumbled. Ruth didn't smile, but her eyes gleamed. MU took it 25-19, 2 sets apiece. The gym shook under the noise. Fifth set. The noise was unbearable. Whistles, drums, breath. Mookie's mind raced faster than the ball. One more set. He could feel both games, the one on the court and the one in his pocket, tightening around him. He looked at Tay. Let's end it right. Tay nodded. Front walls closed. They traded points like punches. 2-2, 5-5, 8-8. Terrence's set drifted too close. Mookie swung late. Block. 10-8 Titans. Ruth called timeout. Maya leaned in, voice low, steady. We're not dead yet. Eyes up. Play your hearts out. Back on the court, Dez's serve clipped the tape and fell in. 10-9. Easton answered with a quick kill. 11-9, 12-9, 12-10. Tay stuffed one. 12-11. The next rally stretched forever. 6 digs, 3 resets. The ball popped off Mookie's arm, hung in the lights, drifting toward the sideline. Gerald chased it, dove, barely touched it. It floated just enough for Terrence to get a hand under it. Set middle. Tay leapt, hammered it. Blocked. 14-11 Titans. Match point. The serve came hot. Mookie received clean. Terrence set quick. Mookie swung. Pure contact, perfect angle. The ball rocketed cross court, caught the tape, and dropped out. Whistle. 15-12 Titans. The gym fell quiet except for Easton's celebration. Mookie stood frozen, hands on his knees, sweat dripping from his chin. Across the net, Easton lifted their fist to the crowd. Tay reached over, touched Mookie's shoulder. We fought, he said softly. Mookie nodded, throat tight. Yeah. Maya cupped her hands and called out across the court, voice cutting through the noise. Hold your heads up, Lions. This isn't the last one. Mookie looked toward the locker room. He could almost feel it. His phone buzzing in the dark. The other game calling. The lights dimmed to the hum of the scoreboard. Final. Titans 3, Lions 2. And somewhere inside that silence, the numbers began to shift. The showers hissed like static. Locker doors slammed. Sneakers squeaked on tile. Laughter came in quick bursts. Nervous, empty. The kind you use when you lose and don't want to feel it. Mookie sat at the end of the bench, head down, jersey open, heartbeat still trapped in the 5th set. He reached into his bag for his phone, planning to text Lex or maybe check his stats. A message was already waiting. Unknown. You voided your own ticket after the settlement closed. Winners already got paid. You owe $20,000 by Monday. He froze, read it again, then again. The numbers stayed the same. A red banner blinked across his betting app. Account frozen. The green plus $20,000 commission pending flashed once, then vanished. His chest tightened. No! He pushed up from the bench, towel around his neck, storming down the corridor. Cold air slapped his wet skin. His thumbs shook as he typed. Mookie Lex. What the hell is this? Fix it. NOW. 3 dots appeared, then vanished. Finally, Lex, you tripped the audit, idiot. The book thinks you tried to hedge your own loss. Mookie, I did hedge it. Lex, no. You rewrote it. There's a difference between playing smart and tampering with the ledger. Mookie, Easton won. Nobody lost anything. Lexi, and you still corrupted the data stream. That's like spitting in the dealer's face. Mookie, how much? Lex, they're saying $20K, and they're saying it's yours. Mookie's knees went weak. His fingers slipped on the phone. He had no money. None. Not even his student refund check had cleared yet. Mookie, tell them it's a mistake. Lex, you think they care? This ain't customer service. These are people who don't do refunds. Mookie, I was trying to balance the pool. Lex, stop talking like you're in class. You messed with their system. They covered your exposure. 20 grand of it. The phone buzzed again. Same number. Unknown, no noise, no excuses. 20 by Monday, 25 by Friday. Mookie pressed the phone to his forehead. Oh, God. Tay stepped out of the locker room, hoodie half on, wiping sweat off his face. Yo, what's up? You look like you seen a ghost. Mookie's voice cracked. We're screwed, Tay. Which kind of screwed? Mook shoved the phone into his hand. Tay scanned the screen, his jaw locked. Man, no. We lost that game. How the hell do we owe anything? They said I messed with the line. You did mess with the line. I was fixing it. Fixing? Tay barked. You voided the hedge. You flipped the odds while the market was still live. They weren't supposed to see it. Well, they did. Tay tossed the phone back onto the bench and paced hard. I thought we were flipping campus bets, not big money credit. I wasn't trying to steal, Mookie said quietly. I was trying to make it look right. You made it look like a cover-up. Then another message hit. Unknown, pay, or someone pays for you. Mookie stepped back like the words had hands. They know where I live, he whispered. They know my address. Tay kicked the bench, fury boiling over. Nah, hell no, we call Lex again. We fix this back end. Lex is flagged, Mookie said. He's nuking code, not rewriting server logs. He's ghosting because he's terrified. Tay swallowed hard. Then what? We just sit here waiting to get collected. I don't know, Mookie whispered. For a stupid, dangerous half-second, he imagined lying his way out. Maybe they'd send one warning and disappear. Maybe he could stall until Christmas. Maybe dash. The phone buzzed again. Unknown. We are not people you want to owe. Mookie exhaled like the air had been punched out of him. I don't even know who they are, he said. Tay stared at the message. Then trace it. Follow the IP. See who's actually moving the money. If it's local, maybe we can flip it. If it's not, he didn't finish. Mookie wiped his face with his sleeve. Okay, I'll try. You ain't got money to pay, Tay said, voice low. I know. Mookie swallowed. But maybe I can find the chain. See who wired what. Maybe there's a hole somewhere. And if there ain't, then we run. The lie tasted like metal. Back in the dorm, Mookie opened an old folder Lex had sent months ago. Admin log exports from their stress tests, timestamps, wallet pings, IP crumbs. Not enough to hack a server, but enough to hunt for a ghost. Lex's last messages hovered on the screen. Lex, you moved the wrong line at the wrong second. The servers flagged your IP. I'm nuking our repo. Don't text me. Lex, Mook, I hope you got someone praying for you. The words blurred. Tay lay on his back pretending to sleep, but his voice drifted up. We got to find something to bet on. Even small plays. Get positive balance before Monday. Mookie didn't answer. He closed the laptop. Rain tapped the window in slow, even beats. He almost let himself breathe. Almost. Until one final notification slid across the screen like a blade. Unknown. We are not people you want to owe. The message pinned him in place. He had crossed some invisible line, and there was no going back. He opened his terminal. The cursor blinked like a heartbeat. Then he started to trace. Outside, the city moved on. Loud, alive, unaware. Inside the dorm, the rain kept time with the hum of the laptop and the slow, terrible click of a plan beginning to form. Monday had teeth, and for now, he had a lead. The sky was still black when Mookie's eyes opened. He hadn't slept. The hum of his laptop had become a heartbeat in the room, steady and cold. The screen's blue light washed over his face as the cursor blinked against a wall of code. Lines of text scrolled past. IP trails, session tokens, wallet strings. The breadcrumbs Lex had left behind. He followed them one by one, tracing their shapes like veins under glass. His coffee had gone cold hours ago. His hands shook when he reached for it anyway. Behind him, Tay snored with his phone half on his chest, the sound of sneakers squeaking in his dreams. Mookie stared at the list of IPs again, each one pointing somewhere different. Miami, Chicago, DC, New York. But one line kept rerouting through Atlanta. That one made his skin prickle. It was local. The cursor blinked. He clicked. He watched as the address resolved. The host ID, the routing path, the digital breadcrumb unspooling. He leaned in closer, eyes dry and burning, following the trace until it landed on a corporate registry he knew by name. He blinked once, then again, and froze. His breath left him all at once. The laptop fan whined higher, or maybe that was just the blood rushing in his ears. "Oh my God," he whispered. "No, no." He pushed back from the desk, chair screeching against the floor. His hands gripped his hair, pulling tight as if pain would make the screen change. "No, no, no, this can't be right." Tay stirred on the other bed, groggy. "What?" "I'm going to die," Mookie whispered. "What?" "I'm going to die. I'm going to die." Tay sat up fast, eyes wide. "Bro, what are you talking about?" Mookie was shaking his head, both hands pressed against it. "We're done. We're over our heads. This isn't some hustler group. It's—" He couldn't finish. The words jammed in his throat. Tay got out of bed, crossing the room. "What did you find?" Mookie pointed at the screen, his whole arm trembling. "They're right here, man. In the city. One of the addresses is connected to an investment group that sponsors the damn gym. They're everywhere. They—" He stopped, voice breaking. It hit him all over again. Every banner he'd seen in AMU's gym. Every local sponsor with shiny logos. One of them was the back end. The money wasn't from random users, it was from people with faces, buildings, influence. He looked at Tay, eyes wet. "We bet with them. We lost with them." Tay swallowed hard. "Who are they?" "I don't know. But they don't lose." Tay's chest rose and fell too fast. Okay. We'll think. We'll find another play, something that hits fast." Mookie dropped into the chair again, breathing hard. "There's no play for this. There's always a play. I'm serious, Tay. They're in Atlanta. They know who we are." The phone buzzed once, sharp enough to make both of them jump. Mookie turned it over. A new message. "Unknown. We are not people you want to owe." His hands went slack. The phone slid from his fingers and hit the floor. Tay crouched, picked it up, read the message, and cursed. "This isn't some scare text, is it?" Mookie shook his head. "They're watching us." Tay dragged a hand down his face. "Then find out how deep. You said you had logs. Follow them." Mookie opened the laptop again, his breathing steady just enough to move the mouse. He pulled up the folder Lex had sent during stress testing, the cached admin export. Not a full console, but enough. Timestamps, session tokens, wallet IDs, a few live IP pings. Enough to follow. He opened the terminal, command lines blinking like Morse code. The sun was bleeding through the blinds now, painting the room in dull gold. Tay was on his phone, scrolling betting boards, muttering numbers. "We got minor league basketball in Europe, volleyball in Florida, Division II softball. Come on." Mookie barely heard him. He was buried in data, eyes scanning numbers and symbols, chasing shadows through code. By noon, the room smelled like sweat and cheap coffee. By 2, the light had shifted across the desk. Then he saw it, a pattern in the logs. 4 pings from the same subnet, 2 of them from a private campus network. His heart stuttered. He scrolled back, looked again. Same coordinates, same digital fingerprint. He stood so fast the chair fell over. "Oh, God!" Tay jumped. "What happened?" "They're on campus," Mookie said, voice cracking. "What?" "They're here, man." He grabbed the desk like it was the only solid thing in the room. "Whoever's behind it, they're inside AMU's network. That's how they knew. That's how they froze the account so fast." Tay went pale. "No way!" Mookie shook his head, eyes wild, red. "We're betting with someone in our own house, someone who sees everything." Tay paced, hands on his head. "We're dead. We're so dead." Mookie grabbed his phone and texted. "Mookie, bro, I found something. Call me." He hit send, no dots, no delivered. Then the bubble flashed green. His stomach dropped. "Lex?" Tay asked. "He's gone," Mookie whispered. "What do you mean, gone?" "When iMessage turns green, it's not iMessage anymore." Tay blinked. You're saying... I'm saying he shut the whole line down. We're alone. The rain started. Soft, steady, merciless. Tay lowered himself onto the bed. So what now? Mookie looked at the blinking cursor on his laptop. He didn't answer, because he didn't know. The blinds barely filtered the light, and Mookie hadn't moved since dawn. The laptop sat open in front of him, the cursor still blinking on a frozen screen. Every time he tried to trace the IP logs again, his hands went numb. Tay sat on the other bed, hoodie half-zipped, scrolling through odds and stat sheets, whispering to himself. Division II softball, no liquidity. Volleyball in Florida, too small. He sighed. We're not going to make 20 grand betting on crumbs. Mookie didn't answer. His eyes were locked on the AMU logo at the bottom of the sponsorship file, the same one tied to the corporate registry he'd seen in the logs. He could still hear the whisper in his head. We are not people you want to owe. The phone buzzed again. Team practice, 9 a.m. sharp. He closed the laptop, wiped his face, and forced himself to move. The gym lights buzzed overhead. The air was warm, thick with the scent of polish and effort. The players were already gathering, sneakers squeaking on the floor, chatter echoing through the rafters. Ruth stood at mid-court, clipboard in hand, a grin she hadn't worn in years lighting her face. All right, listen up, she called, clapping twice. Before we start, I've got good news. The team quieted. Even Maya turned, raising an eyebrow. Ruth's eyes glimmered. We've got our first booster in years. They're giving us new uniforms, a travel bus, and customized meal prep for athletes. The kind the big programs get. The gym erupted, shouts, cheers, a whistle. Even Maya clapped once, smiling wide. But Mookie froze. The name on the banner Ruth held up, the sleek corporate logo printed in red and silver, hit him like a fist to the chest. He recognized it instantly, the same name from the IP logs, the same money behind the app. His throat went dry, his stomach flipped. For a second, he thought he might actually throw up right there on the floor. Tay's eyes found his across the gym. Mookie shook his head slowly, barely moving. Tay's smile vanished. Ruth didn't notice. That's right, she said, still beaming. We're back on the map. A MU volleyball is being seen again. Maya leaned closer, voice low. This came together fast. Ruth nodded. President Reed said the donors reached out last night. I'm not asking how. I'm just thanking God they did. Maya's smile softened. It's a start. Exactly. Ruth lifted the clipboard high again. Now let's make them proud. Whistles echoed as practice began. Maya blew hers sharply. Warm-up, laps, then we go live. The team started running. The squeak of soles, the slap of palms, the rhythm of breath filling the gym. When they circled back, Ruth tossed a ball to Terrence. We're focusing on first contact control. That first set Wednesday, you'll be nervous. But by the third serve, it's gone. You hear me? Yes, coach. Good, now show me. Terrence tossed the ball, set high to the left pin. Mookie stepped in late. His footwork was off. He swung and sent the ball straight into the net. Reset, Maya barked. The next one came faster. Terrence set again. Clean, perfect. Mookie hesitated, too deep in his head. The ball dropped just inside the line. Again! Sweat poured down his neck. The floor tilted. Every sound, the thud of the ball, the squeal of shoes, Ruth's voice cutting the air, felt like static. Tay yelled from the back, Shake it off, Mook! He tried, and he really did. But every time the ball rose, he saw the logo again, flashing behind his eyelids like a warning. Every toss felt like a countdown. Terrence sent another quick set, low and fast. Mookie jumped late and hit off balance. The ball ricocheted off the antenna and out of bounds. Maya's whistle shrieked. The gym fell still. Mookie, she said, you okay? He froze. Everyone was staring now. Tay started to step forward, but Mookie shot him a quick look. Don't. I'm fine, coach, he said, forcing a breath. Maya tilted her head, not convinced. Then focus. You're better than that. He nodded. Yes, ma'am. She blew the whistle again. Back to work. The drill restarted. The rhythm returned. But Mookie's body wasn't his own anymore. His arms felt heavy. His timing was gone. And the noise in his head wouldn't stop repeating the same line. We are not people you want to owe. He glanced up at the banner hanging high on the gym wall. That same red and silver logo standing proud beside AMU's lion. The team cheered as another rally ended clean. But Mookie's stomach twisted because he knew the truth. They weren't being saved. They were being watched. The campus was already alive. Sneakers hitting pavement, laughter spilling from the quad, music thumping from someone's window. But inside the dorm, Mookie sat frozen on the edge of his bed, the glow of his phone cutting through the morning noise. A new message blinked onto the screen. Unknown. It's Monday. You got my money? His stomach twisted. He read it twice before typing back. Mookie, you'll have it Friday. The reply came 10 seconds later. Unknown. You better. Across the room, Tay groaned, rubbing his face. That means they're watching the clock, bro. Friday's real now. Yeah, Mookie muttered. 4 days. Tay pulled his hood up and opened another betting site. Then we find something that hits fast. Big odds, clean finish. But Mookie barely heard him. His mind was already counting backwards from Friday, heartbeat sinking to the number. Across town, sunlight streamed through glass walls at the Midtown Wellness Institute. The room smelled faintly of lavender and eucalyptus. Maya sat across from Dr. Lewis, her therapist, stretching her leg easily for the first time in months. Session 7, Dr. Lewis said, shaking his head in wonder. You're moving like nothing ever happened. Maya smiled. Feels brand new. He grinned. Looks it too. Congratulations, Maya. You're officially discharged from treatment. Before she could reply, there was a knock at the door. In stepped a woman in a sleek cream blazer. Branding director for Verivive Wellness, the company that sponsored the clinic's athletic recovery program. Maya Daniels, she said warmly, we've been following your sessions and your story online. The engagement you've built, the honesty, the discipline, it's inspiring. Maya blinked, unsure where this was going. The woman smiled wider. We'd like to offer you a contract, full partnership, brand ambassador for our alternative therapy division, speaking events, social content, the works. Maya's hand went to her chest. You're serious? Dead serious. You're proof that healing can look like strength. We'll have the paperwork sent by tomorrow. Maya's throat tightened. Thank you. Truly. Thank you, Maya, the woman said. Keep telling your story. By late afternoon, Maya sat in her car outside the clinic, sunlight flickering across the dashboard. Her phone buzzed with a new email notification. Subject, book proposal inquiry, your comeback story. We followed your journey since college and love how authentically you've shared your recovery online. Your comeback could be a real bookseller. If you're open to it, we'd love to discuss turning your story into a memoir about resilience and healing. Maya covered her mouth, laughing softly. The world that had once turned its back was suddenly turning toward her again. Back at the AMU gym, the team was already warming up when she arrived. The echo of the ball against the floor filled the air with rhythm. Ruth clapped her hands. All right, listen up. I just got word. Our new uniforms will be ready for Wednesday's game. You hear that? Cheers erupted. Even Mookie cracked a weak smile. Maya blew her whistle. Let's get to it. Warm-up laps. They took off, sneakers squealing, voices bouncing off the rafters. The energy was different now. Sharp, focused. Terrence's sets snapped clean through the air. Dez's serves were mean and precise. Jarrell dove like his body had no limits. Mookie, he was trying. The timing wasn't perfect, but he was moving better, or at least pretending to. Ruth's voice boomed from the sideline. That's it. Keep that rhythm. Wednesday's first set, you'll be nervous, but by the third serve, it's gone. Yes, coach, the team shouted back. Maya grinned. That's more like it. Play like this on the road and people will remember the Lions. Mookie rose for a hit. Perfect height, clean approach, crisp contact. The ball cracked the floor, echoing loudly. That's the swing I know, Maya called, clapping once. For a heartbeat, he almost felt weightless again. When practice ended, Ruth rested a hand on Maya's shoulder. You're glowing again, she said. The kids can feel it. Maya smiled, and guess healing's contagious. Ruth chuckled. Let's hope it wins us Wednesday. As players gathered their bags, Maya glanced toward the benches. Mookie sat alone, head down, retying his shoes. Something in the stillness tugged at her. She almost said something, but didn't. That night, the dorm was dim again. Just the blue wash of Mookie's phone. A new message appeared. Unknown. You said Friday. Don't forget who you owe. He typed back, fingers shaking. Mookie, you'll have it Friday. A long pause, then another bubble. Unknown. Don't miss. Or we'll collect interest in person. Mookie's breath hitched. He dropped the phone onto the bed, staring at the ceiling while the world outside buzzed with normal life. Laughter, footsteps, music. Inside, the only sound was his pulse. 4 days left. Ty sat on the edge of the bed, elbows on his knees, face buried in his hands. Across from him, Mookie paced, leg bouncing, phone in hand. The glow lit the sharp lines under his eyes. They gave us till Monday, Tay said. It's Tuesday night. Mookie didn't answer. The silence pressed on the walls. We're done, man, Tay whispered. 25 grand. They don't wait. Mookie stopped pacing, his pulse thundering in his ears. I know, but we have no choice now. We got to make them wait. Tay looked up. How? 3 sets, Mookie said. Straight sweep, 6-point margin. The payout covers everything. We flipped the table on him. Tay stared, jaw slack. You're talking about doubling the bet? Yeah. That's $50,000, Moog. Mookie's jaw tightened. If we win, it clears everything. We owe nothing. They'll choke on their own odds. Tay shook his head, disbelief mixing with fear. Coastal's outsides hit like cannons. Then we don't give 'em rhythm, Mookie said. Slow the tempo, make 'em swing scared. He glanced at his reflection in the black phone screen. We just have to play perfect. That was when it buzzed. Lex, meet me at the diner on 14th. The diner was half empty, humming under a broken neon sign that stuttered red and blue light onto the wet asphalt. Inside, the air was thick with burnt coffee and storm. Lex sat in the back booth, shoulders hunched, eyes wide and sleepless. Across from him sat a man neither of them recognized. Bald head, smooth dark skin, goatee carved clean. His silver watch flashed when he moved, but his hands were steady. He didn't stand when they approached. He just looked up. You missed Monday, he said, voice even, low. Tay froze. Who are you? EJ, the man said. Your friend here thought I should hear what kind of grave you're digging. Mookie slid into the booth beside Tay, heart beat hard enough to feel in his throat. We missed, yeah, but we're not done. EJ watched him. No expression, just patience sharpened into silence. That's so. Mookie nodded. We're flipping it. Tomorrow we double the stake. 50,000 on ourselves. Win in 3, 6-point margin. They wanted a show. We'll give them one. EJ stirred his coffee once. You think you can gamble your way out of debt with the same men who build the odds? Mookie leaned forward, defiant. We built the game. They're riding on us. Without us, they got nothing to bet on. EJ gave a small dry sound that might have been a laugh. Win your way out, he repeated softly, like testing the weight of the words. What's the play? Lex swallowed hard and finally spoke. You don't know who this is, Mook. EJ used to work NCAA compliance. Audits, boosters, scholarship funds. The whole maze that makes dirty money look clean. He doesn't just follow trails. He looked down at the table. He builds them or erases them. EJ's mouth curved a fraction. Kid, I'm the trace. The words seemed to take the heat out of the air. He turned his cup, eyes steady on the coffee's swirl. Then listen carefully. What you're in isn't just betting, it's asset testing. They invest small in chaos. Players, schools, donors. See who panics, who pays, who performs. The same man who cut your athletic bus check probably moves their money through scholarship fronts. Lex's voice came out quiet, shaking. He's right. I've been mapping IPs for weeks. Same servers hit the donation site and the app. The name on the banner? Same cluster. The diner seemed to shrink, the air growing thick. EJ's watch caught the neon, flashing once like a camera. You're not fighting odds, you're fighting ownership. If you pull off that sweep, the payout doesn't just pay the debt, it exposes their funnel. That's your insurance. You document it, quietly, no bragging, no trail. Mookie's throat tightened. And if we lose, EJ didn't blink, then you don't need to worry about who calls next. Tay's voice broke through the tension. So what do we do? Play clean, EJ said. Play like your name's already in the papers and you're trying to prove the rumors wrong. No emotion, no tells. When the money moves, you catch the proof. That's your shield. Lex nodded faintly. I can shadow the transaction, not touch it, just see when it moves. But if it flags, they'll trace the account to whoever placed it. EJ rose, buttoning his jacket. Then you'd better hope your match looks holy. You win, you get leverage. You lose. He didn't finish. He didn't have to. Mook said, he scares me. Lex responded, you should. The bell above the door gave one hollow ring, and he was gone. Just a cold gust of rain left behind. Lex sat still for a long moment. He's not human, man. Feels like he knows what's going to happen before it does. Mookie rubbed the back of his neck. That's why we needed him. Outside, the rain thickened, hammering the street. The walk back to the motel was silent. When they got inside, Mookie tossed his soaked hoodie on the chair. He started to speak, but his phone buzzed again. He froze. Unknown. Payment missed. Friday total equals $50,000. Tay read over his shoulder, voice cracking. They doubled it already. They told us 25. Do they have us bugged or something? Mookie stared at the screen, the words glowing like heat. They know everything, he said quietly. Tay whispered, what now? Mookie looked up, eyes dark and steady. Now, we win. The tunnel throbbed with the crowd's roar. Coastal's arena lights pulsed white and gold, heat rising off the floor like smoke. The Lions waited shoulder to shoulder, new uniforms gleaming, new shoes whispering against concrete. Tay's knuckles tapped the wall. Terrence spun the ball once, eyes shut. Maya stood in front of them, calm but burning. First whistle, own it. Third serve, the nerves are gone. Let's make them remember Atlanta Metro. Ruth's voice followed, sharp as chalk on slate. Play clean, play loud. Mookie flexed his fingers. 50 grand of fear sat behind his ribs. The gym exploded when they walked in. Coastal's blue banners dripped from the rafters, drums shaking the bleachers. Quick handshakes across the net, cold, brief. First serve, Coastal, whistle, snap. The ball tore across the court. Dez dropped for the dig, too shallow. Terrence lunged, one hand set. Mookie jumped too early, mistimed, smacked the tape. The ball died at their feet. The crowd howled. Ruth's whistle cut through. Timeout, Lions. Huddled tight, sweat, breath, pounding hearts. Ruth barked, get your feet under, read the hands. Every swing has your name on it. Maya growled, stop watching them like gods, make them chase you. They broke, jaws clenched. The restart was war. Terrence's next set floated perfectly. Tay slammed the block shut. The ball caromed off Coastal's hitter and out. 1-1. Then came a grind of rallies. Bodies diving, squeaking shoes, palms burning. Each dig a survival act. Mookie's shirt clung, his pulse a drum. At 22-22, Terrence feinted a quick set middle. Back flipped it outside. Mookie rose, hit cross court so clean the ball hissed. 24-22, next serve. Dez low floated. Coastal shanked the pass. It skidded off the scorer's table. Set 1. AMU 25-22. Set 2 opened heavier, louder. Coastal hammered serves. Jarrell sprawled full length, barely saving one off his wrist. Terrence slid in. Perfect bump set. Mookie sprinted, the ball sinking. He kicked out a foot, popped it straight up. Second contact. Terrence set fast. Third, Mookie exploded, arm whipping, the crack echoing like thunder. The crowd gasped. Even Coastal's bench froze. Maya slammed her clipboard. That's lion ball. Momentum flipped hard. Dez painted lines with her serves. Short corner, back corner, same rhythm twice, then drop middle. Ruth's eyes flashed pride, then a bad call. Line shot ruled out. Maya stormed the sideline. That's chalk. Chalk's flying. Ref's hand rose in warning. Ruth caught her elbow. Not now, Maya. We finish this. And they did. Des aced twice. Mookie closed the set with a back row blast that clipped the libero's shoulder. Set 2, 25-19. Set 3, the fight for 6. Every point felt like a heartbeat too long. 19-18. 20-18. Coastal refused to die. Tay shut a block. Gerald dug a missile off his chest. Terrence called, "One more," and sent it high to the pin. Mookie swung. It ricocheted off hands, stayed in play. Back again, another dig, another set. 30 seconds of chaos. The crowd on its feet. Ruth shouted, "Short serve next! Close the middle!" Des obeyed, knife short over the net. Coastal's setter scrambled. Tight pass, weak swing. Tay stuffed it back, point. 24-19, match point. Terrence looked at Mookie. No words needed. Serve up. Des again. Float serve dead center. Coastal's libero lunged, lifted it clean. Their hitter rose for the kill. Mookie read it, stepped inside and dug with both fists. The ball sailed high. Terrence back set blind, perfect height. Mookie flew, shoulder above the tape. Eyes locked on the empty middle. He didn't crush it. He whispered it. A soft dink dead center. The ball hit hardwood. Ref's whistle cut the air. Point, match, sweep, 25-19, 6-point margin. For a moment silence, then eruption. The Lions screamed, bench flooding the floor. Maya grabbed Ruth. They laughed, cried, yelled all at once. Mookie dropped to his knees, palms flat on the floor, chest heaving. They'd done it. All three. By 6. In the stands, confetti drifted. Amid the noise, a man in a gray suit stood, buttoned his jacket, and slipped toward the exit. No applause. From the tunnel shadow, EJ watched. Recognition flickered across his face like lightning behind glass. Locker room later. Steam, laughter, dripping showers. Mookie sat alone at his locker, towel over his head. His phone buzzed once. Unknown, payment processing. Another buzz. Unknown, we saw what you did. Outside, the bus engines hummed. In the parking lot, EJ stood in the rain, eyes tracking those red taillights. He didn't need the name. He already knew the man who owned them. The crowd went home. The lights dimmed, but the consequences stayed. Some wins change your life. Others tell you what it's really going to cost. Mookie made his choice. Maya found her second win, and somewhere in the shadows, someone was still watching. This story isn't over. It's only getting started. To be continued. If you felt this story, like to let me know. Comment with your thoughts or theories. Share it with someone who loves sports dramas. Follow for the next chapter of Simply Jaynae's stories. Because the next serve might change everything.